I wanted to talk a little bit about the Purge law. So there's been talk of this law in Chicago, Illinois to go into effect January 1st, 2023, and that certain crimes, a few of them very heinous crimes, like second-degree murder, kidnapping, drug-induced homicide, that will have no cash bail. I guess there's 12 specific crimes listed. There will be no cash bail. There'll be a 48-hour period. And within that 48 hours, that's what people are concerned about. What will happen within that 48 hours of the release of that person arrested for that crime until they have to appear. And this is the thing. A lot of people, some people are saying, "Oh, well, it's called the Safety Act." And it's ironic that they call it that, right? Because how would that benefit anybody safety-wise? Releasing potential very dangerous people who will have 48 hours to finish the job if it was left undone, or if they want to, execute more people that are associated with that person they executed. We know that Chicago has a very big gang problem, just like LA. I mean, really any big city has its violence. I mean, it doesn't even have to be gangs. It's just, it is what it is. It's amazing to me that there's a big push for gun control. And any laws that would be pro-gun control are going to affect normal citizens who abide by the law and just want those guns to protect their families. And everybody should have the desire to and the will to protect their family with violence if necessary. It's just a natural desire, And some people, a gun is the quickest, most effective way to do that. But it doesn't just have to be that. And so while they're doing that, on one hand, trying to have laws that will make it harder for citizens to get guns. By the way, I don't believe it's ever going to happen, because during the whole lockdown thing, ammo and weapons went off the shelf. People in America they're strapped. This is why I don't believe there'll ever be a true communist takeover here, because if there was, they're attempting it, but if there ever was, I mean, these people would be left dead on their feet, these communists, because the one thing that one of the emperors in World War II says, that behind every blade of grass in America is a gun. And America's so spread out. But anyways, let's talk about, again, this law. Increasingly, laws are being made to be soft on crime. And I agree that nonviolent criminals should be given a lot of leeway in terms of bail, in terms of even getting released until trial, definitely. But when it comes to crimes of more violent nature, I don't know. What you don't know is that things are going to get much, much worse. Things aren't going to get better. Why? Because the economy is one thing. Okay, that's just part of it. The economy, inflation. We see it at the pumps, at the food stores. It's only going to increase. I'm feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. That is a working class person, middle class, lower class. And when that happens, if you don't have a strong moral foundation in your country, a moral fabric, then that's what people do. Is when times get hard economic-wise, crime will go through the roof. And at the same time that they're trying to make things stricter for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves, whether it's a gun law or whether it's laws where if you defend yourself on your property, you can end up in jail. And yet they're being way softer on hardcore crime. If you don't see what's going on, then you're blind, basically. You need to put on your thinking cap, because they are unleashing, I believe they want to unleash the violent criminal element on normal citizens. And Why else would they make laws to defend yourself stricter, and yet laws for violent criminals more lenient? And this is the only thing I'm going to say is, we are in a dark age. We're in an age where what is evil is being called good, what is good is being called evil. Take your safety in your own hands. No pun intended for this law. Take your safety in your own hands. Train yourself that if someone was to come to hurt you, your family, to come on your property, that you do everything in your power to defend them, even if it is by any means necessary. You don't worry about the legal consequences, because you'd rather be alive and have to go through a legal battle than have one of your family members killed because these pig politician Democrats, and the Republicans too, but mostly Democrat liberal crap, and Republicans are just as bad, but in different ways. They don't care because they're high in the hill. They're in their safety neighborhoods, right? They don't care. Never rely on the government to take care of you, to protect you. And you owe it to yourself to be trained up that if someone was to try to hurt you or your family, that's going to be the worst thing they ever did. And that's the mentality the law-abiding citizens need to have in the coming days. You need to make peace with yourself that it is okay to hurt somebody that's trying to hurt you. And it's okay to do it with extreme measures, because we're headed for some serious times. If people don't see what's going on in the cities, smash and grabs, cops already saying they're not going to respond to certain calls, or they're going to, they're really taking to put their foot off the pedal. See, yeah, there has been police abuse, and they're using that to further turn our society into a lawless one. And the problem with many people is, especially in Christianity, is this docile slave mentality of turn the other cheek. But when they say that, they mean it literally, when it doesn't mean that. What people think, you just let someone come in. So my only thing with this whole new Safety Act, regardless of the effects of it, the effects will not be good. There's nothing good that can come out of that. And especially if you live in Chicago, and by the way, that will likely expand to the liberal states like California, New York. There's nothing good for the law-abiding citizens. And this is why Americans have to get with what's going on. Stop watching the Kardashians. Stop being obsessed with entertainment. Stop being obsessed by going to restaurants and having all this food and stuffing yourself. And you have to be militant in these days. I'm not saying you still can't enjoy life. I enjoy good food. But, and especially if you're the head of a household, you're a man, you have to have a militant mindset, because things are going to get worse. This is only the beginning of a long mega trend of possible world war, but definitely economic downturn. We're in it. It's not going to get better. And so when you see laws like this pass, that push for leniency on violent criminality is going to continue, and the push for laws to restrict the ability of citizens to defend themselves without legal consequences, you see where this is going. You have to make yourself into someone that is able and capable to defend your family physically. When you see these things happen, be prepared mentally and spiritually. Head on a swivel everywhere you go. Grocery store. You go to the pizza joint. Wherever you go, walking down the street to get your cup of coffee, head on a swivel. Exercise. Train your body. have a serious outlook on things. Not that you can't enjoy life, not that you can't joke and have fun, but have a serious mindset, a militant mindset, because things are going to get bad. They're getting bad already. And when this all started, this whole lockdown 2.5 years ago, people weren't listening. They were so blinded by this whole virus thing that they weren't seeing what exactly was starting to take place. I called it from the beginning. I called it before the thing came over here. I called it when I was seeing what was going on in China at the end of 2019. We are headed for a long war. We're in a long war of attrition. We're in a Kali Yuga. We're in a dark age. So be ready, be militant, be appropriate mentally, physically, spiritually for the times that we're living in. And most of all, put your trust in Christ. But guess what? Jesus didn't come here so that we as Christians could just lay around, do nothing. He came here so that we could do all things. That includes the ability and the capability to defend yourself, because your politicians are feeding you to the wolves. And that's what they're doing. Laws that are favoring the violent criminal element of society and inhibiting the law-abiding citizens that just want to raise a family, work, support them. Train up. We're heading for serious times. Be willing to defend everything you love. And embrace the warrior spirit. Embrace it. For too long, Americans have been made docile through television, through slave morality via modern mainstream Christianity. Indulgence, materialism has made Americans soft. Because this wouldn't have happened in the America a couple hundred years ago. People putting up with tyrannical government, laws against law-abiding citizens and favoring the violent criminal element. It wouldn't have been tolerated. But today's American man is more concerned with who won the football game and American woman with the Kardashians. All right, salute in the kingdom of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. Bye.